and welcome back to Amakadel online training. How you guys coping? I know it's been that period, that we're just at home. I don't even know, doing nothing, doing everything, but well, we thank God, whichever way. So you guys are welcome back to our online class. Today I just thought of doing something very easy, free wares that we can actually use at home during this period. Like I said, this is a Macadel online training. Please do subscribe and like our videos so that of course when I upload you get more of this. Anyway, I'm going to be cutting and sewing. It may be a part 1 and a part 2 of this video. So we have the cutting as a part 1 and the sewing as a part 2. So we're going to be making an off-shoulder kimono maxi dress. Yay! I can just imagine what it's going to look like, because you're going to actually have one off the shoulder. I'll get a picture to show you guys, during this. But that's actually what I'm going to be cutting. So first of all, I'll actually like to tell you the tools we'll be working with. So we're going to have a tailor's chalk. It's not really a pattern thing. It's more of a freehand thing. It's something you can actually do immediately and wear it. So like in an hour, you should be done with this dress. Like I said earlier on, it is an off-the-shoulder kimono maxi dress. So we have a tailor's check, as you can see here. I have my scissors. That's what I'll be using to do the cutting. I have my tape, of course, for measurement, and then I have my ruler. You could we would use a hip curve at the point, because we need to do a curve, in part of the dress. You'll see that as we go along. And then we have fabric. You can actually work with your Ankara fabric, but I'm going to be using a bale fabric. I just saw it yesterday when we had this short opening, to get to some shops, and I just felt I should just get that fabric I can work with. And so this is what we're going to be working with. Anyway, so moving forward, I'll show you how we're going to fold this fabric. If we're doing a maxi gown, now I have 3 yards of fabric here, because if we're looking at the length, already this is like by 60, because it's a bale fabric. But for me, I'm quite tall, and I'm using a length of, I think 64 is what I'm working with. So before I give you measurements, I'll just show you how we're going to fold this fabric. So like I said, I'm using 3 yards. It all depends on how tall you are and how short you are. Then you can determine the amount of yardage you're going to be using. So now I've folded this into 2. I'm working with the wrong side of my fabric. This is my right side of the fabric, and this is my wrong side. So I've folded this, I'm folding this into 2. If you've seen this, I hope you're seeing this clearly. Into 2, and then into another 2. Into another 2. So I'm going to be cutting along this length. So if you can do this first, like I said, we're folding into first 2 and then the second 2. So I'm having a 4-fold, meaning I'm cutting both my front and my back together. That's what we're going to start with. So let's go into the cutting now. Okay guys, so like I said, we're making an off-shoulder maxi dress, and I just had to do a quick sketch to show you what it's like. So when I say an off the shoulder, it means you have the shoulder on one side, but the other side is off it. That's how the maxi dress is going to be. So it's not like it's a full shoulder thing, So if you really look at this very well, which I'm very sure you can see, but let me just bring it closer. So that is off the shoulder. One side has a shoulder, the other side is off it. And like I said, it's a maxi gown, but it's like loose. You can actually make yours a bit clingy to your body, but it can be loose as well. So it all depends on what you want. So now, these are the measurements I have put on the side, so you understand what we're working with. I have the floor length. That is a maxi dress, so you have from your shoulder to your floor. And you can actually add like 1 to 2 inches to it, depending on if you want to. Some people like carrying their dresses up when they are walking. So that's the essence of the extra 1 to 2 inches, but I'm just okay at my 64 length. You have your bust measurement. You have your waist measurement, you have your hips measurement, and then you have your shoulder length. Now, what I mean by shoulder length is that you're going to measure from the center point of your backbone, which is like your shoulder point, to wherever you want the sleeve to stop at your sleeve length. So that is it. Now you're adding everything. So like, let's say your shoulder is meant to be 15, which you normally divide by 2. This time around, you're not stopping at where your shoulder is meant to stop. You're taking it all the way to your sleeve. You know, that is going to be that length. Maybe I'll just have to show you. Guys, so this is just the measurements. I'm trying to do a quick one just to show you guys for this maxi dress. So we're taking our full length, that's what I said earlier on, and our full length is from, you know, her neck line all the way to the floor. Now hers is 56. Like I said, if you want to be holding the dress, then you're going to add an extra 1 to 2 inches, but for her I'll just use 56. And then we have her bust. Of course, you take your tape round to the larger part. Like I teach my students, measurement for bust is always on the, you know, largest part. So you tilt your tape towards that way, not in the center, but towards the larger part. So whatever you have there is what you're going to use. And then the waist measurement, same thing. The trick to it most times is look at the cut of your hand. That determines where your waist is. That's just it. So that's the waist measurement. And then you take the hip measurement, you know, to the side as well. This is not like a measurement class. I'm just trying to show you guys what you're going to do with this maxi dress. So the hip measurement, circumference, and then you do, basically what I really wanted to show to you was the shoulder length, which is what I'm talking about. So now for the shoulder length, which is the major thing we need to you know, use to cut, is going to be, there are 2 ways I take this measurement. So wherever I want it to stop, she wants her kimono to stop somewhere here. So I'll take the measurement from that part of the shoulder across it to the other part, just the same place she wants it to end, and that's about 30. Now the other, the first way to take this measurement. So that's how wide your kimono is going to be. So the second way for this measurement is from the midpoint of her neck. You place your tape and take the measurement. Hope you guys can see that, all the way to where she wants it to stop. That is 15 inches. So that is going to, you know, help us determine how wide, you know, we're going to fold our fabric. Okay, now, so guys, we'll move to the cutting. Okay guys, so you're welcome back to our cutting session. Like I said earlier on, you know, I folded this into a 4-fold. But basically, when we're doing the measurements, I explained to you that we're going to use the shoulder length, which is to get our width, because we need that. That's basically what we need. So whatever you're using as your full shoulder length, in my case, I'm going to use between 15 to 17. I'm still undecided about it. So when you take yours, that is that shoulder length measurement we are going to use to, you know, fold this, making sure that we have enough of that, you know, as on our 4-fold on the width. This is the length on our width. So like I said, this is a 4-fold, and I'm ready to start my cutting. I'm having a length of 64, but for this fabric I'm using everything. So first of all, for me, I like having a top line. I'm just hoping that this check I'm using will be very okay for you to see, but if you can't, please just follow what I'm doing. It's easier, you know. So I don't know if you can see that chalk. I'm just marking off that because I can't work with this. And then before I take my measurements, normally on my own, if I'm not teaching, I'll be using my pencil to do this. It's far better and easier. So before I do that, I'll just mark down like half of an inch, because I'll use that for my sewing allowance. So I always just mark that down. So my measurement will now start after the half of an inch. So first of all, we're going to be taking our full length measurements, meaning that all the way from here, where I've marked my half, to the end, wherever you want your measurement to stop. Like I said, for me, I'm using the whole fabric as my length, so that's going to be your full length. So you're also going to impute the measurement I said we'll take. Your armhole measurement, it determines where your chest length is going to be. So normally we have this formula that you say your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. That tells you what your armhole is. My armhole using that measurement is 9 inches, but because it is a maxi dress and I need it to be free, I'm going to actually come down. So I'm going to be using like 10 and a half as my chest measurement. So I'm marking 10 and a half. Please, I'm marking it from the half an inch point that I came down on. So after marking that, I'm going to also mark my waist half length. Actually, I didn't put that there, but please, your half length as well. Sorry, I forgot that. So my half length is at 18 inches. So you find what your half length is. That determines your waist circumference. And then my hip length, which you're going to use your hip depth to determine where that is. So mine is 9 inches. So here I'm marking my 9 inches from 18. And then the remaining part is your full length. So let me put them into straight lines, then I'll explain it better so that at least you can see. So hoping the fabric is really slippery kind of, so it moves, and also the chalk mark is not showing well. That's why I said please just follow me so that you can see. I just hope you can. I'm trying to make the chalk come out as much as. So from here to here is my chest measurement plus 1.5 inch. That's what I added. And then from here, this is my neckline, top line. From here to here is my half length, which I'm going to impute my waist circumference. And then from this waist to this point is my hip depth, where I'm going to input my hip circumference. And then the rest of the fabric is actually my full length. So now, at this point where I'm having my chest measurement, I'm going to be imputing my bust circumference divided by 4. Now it's going to be it's a free maxi dress, but mine is not so overly free. So if you want it to be very free, you're going to be adding like 1 inch or 1.5, between 1 to 1.5 more to all your measurements. But for me, for the chest, my chest divided, my bust measurement divided by 4 is 11.25. So I'll mark that here. Like I said, if you want it to be really loose, you're going to add your 1 inch to it. If you don't want it to be very loose, please leave it at half of an inch. It's not going to be very loose. It will just stay nicely on your body. That is half of an inch. If you want it very loose, you leave it at 1. And then you now add your 1 inch sewing allowance. At the waist part, now, I may still alter that when I'm about doing my curve for my sleeve. So this at a point, it may not really be necessary, but most times I just put it as a guide. So I'm not having, I'm not having my maxi dress too loose. So at the waist point, my waist is, whatever I have as my waist divided by 4, you're going to mark it here, right? And I'm going to add an extra 1 inch to give me that ease, and another 1 inch. That is my sewing allowance. Please note. My waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for ease, and then another 1 inch as my sewing allowance. Now I'll come to my hips. So I'll now fix in my hips divided by 4. My hips, if I don't want it, like I said, to be too loose, it won't even be also tight. You can just add half an inch. It's perfectly fine. But if you want it loose, you now add 1 inch and still add another 1 inch as your sewing allowance. Your hips divided by 4 plus half an inch if you don't want it loose, and then half an inch for your ease, and then 1 inch. So like I said, I don't even really want it loose anyway, so I'll just do half of an inch and then 1 inch as my sewing allowance. So if you really want it loose, you add more. So I'll join this before I go down, or probably I'll just mark down so that you guys, For the down part, mine is really going to be flesh. Naturally, what you want to do, if you want exactly the same thing, whatever you have here at your hip part is the same thing you're going to have at the down part. But I'm going to slant mine because I want it a bit flesh. So now I'm having two chalks here because I'm just trying to make sure that you guys see what I'm doing. So sorry, this is the hem of my dress. It's a bit, just trying to arrange it. Always try to make sure that your fabric is staying properly. Like I said, this my fabric is so very funny that you need to be really, really careful. So I've arranged that. So whatever you have here at your hip measurement, I have about 13¾ is the same thing you're going to have here. This is 13¾ but like I said, I want mine to be more free when I'm walking. If you keep it here, most times when you're walking, you won't be able to walk well. It can be a bit tight, or it can really be, you have to now keep dragging the dress up for you to walk properly. So for me, I'll add up to 4 inches. Why? Because I want mine to already, my sewing allowance is inside here as well. Because I just want my down part to be flesh. You can add as little as you want it to be. You can extend this by 1 and add your 1 inch sewing allowance, however you want it to be. But like I said, I want mine to really be flesh, so I've added all this for mine. So now I'm going to take my line from here. Sorry, my ruler is not long enough. You can draw a free hand, or you can as well still try to use, like at times I add 2 rulers, so this is one of it. Sorry, let me just pick the other one. So you can as well, if you have this, you just join them. Try and take it here. So you join them together, and then draw your line out. So that is it. So that's how I want mine to be, because I want the down part to really, really, flare out. So I hope you can really see that very well. So please, like I said, the chalk is not so you can't see it well, but I'll just try as much as. I don't know if you can see this well. So you're just joining the line. I'm just trying to make you see what I'm doing. So you just draw the line all the way. So that's how the down part is going to be. Okay guys, so I'm done joining that part, and I'm also going to join this part. Like I said, you can use your ruler, but I'm having issues with getting this chalk mark to show. That's why I'm actually not really using my ruler. So I'm joining this part, my waistline, to my hip part. So now, before we join this, or you can as well join it if you want to, but like I said, we may likely move down a bit by the time we do our the sleeve part. So you're joining from your chest line to your waistline. Okay, so now I've joined the line from my chest to my waist. So now I'm going to take the shoulder length measurement we talked about. Like I said, mine is going to be, I'll take between 15 to 17. I said earlier on I did not know what I wanted to. So first of all, you're going to mark your normal neckline, which is at 3, and you can take it from 3, and you can also decide to mark, you don't need the shoulder part anymore, because whatever you're doing is going to be from here. So from here now, I'm also from my midpoint here, my center front, if you can see that, from my center front, I have marked 3 inches for my neckline. From my center front still, I'm going to mark how wide I want. Like I said, I'm going to take between 15 inches to 17, because I just want it to be very full. So I'll take 17, and of course maybe you add your 1 inch for your folding in, depending on what you're going to do, or you just had a quarter for your bias. I'm going to work more with bias because I just love using bias to finish up, so I may not add much there. So at this point, you're going to remember we have ½ an inch here that we're going to, that we kept. So from here, I'm going to be coming down 2 inches. You can do between 2 to 3. You can do 1.5. It's all up. It's just a slant, that we need to do. So I just want to make sure that I know where I'm slanting that. So you now take a slant from your half. Don't forget that we came down here ½ an inch. We're working from this ½ an inch, not the top of the fabric. So you take your slant, draw the line all the way to that point. Please, I hope you can see that line. Draw. Can you see this now? Because I'm trying to just make it very... So you draw the line all the way to where I came down 2 inches. I came down 2 inches here. From the midpoint here, I marked 3 inches. And then I drew a line from that 3 inches mark to where I came down 2 inches. Now, at this point that I came down 2 inches, I'm now going to mark my round sleeve. So, when we say round sleeve, at that point that we had measured, you know, and we had our 15 inches, you're going to take it round. So you can make it loose, you can make it tight, but of course it's a loose maxi dress, so it should be loose. So I'm having another 15 here. So this is what I'm going to divide by 2 and use it to know what the measurement there is. So this is your round sleeve divided by 2. So at that point, in my case, my round sleeve, I'm bigger than her though, so I'm going to be coming down at about 9 inches because I want mine to really be wide. So maybe I'll take 10, which takes in my sewing allowance at this point. So now this is where this is stopping. You're not going to draw a straight line. I use a square because my square, you know, has lines on it. So the line on my square, I'm going to keep it on this line. If I keep this on this line, have you seen that it's giving me a slant? It's not giving me a straight line. You cannot draw your sleeve at this point to be straight. It is going to be slant. So maybe if you don't have this ruler, you can just come in like, if this is a straight line, come in 1 inch and draw your line at this point. Please watch this video over and over, you understand what I'm doing. So I've drawn a slant line. So if it was straight, this will be there will be a 1 inch difference here. So where you have your sleeve, please come backwards 1 inch. And then we're going to curve this into this our line that we made here. That's where I said that you likely need the curve. So I'm using my curve now, so I can just nicely curve this into this line. I can also do it freehand, you know. So this is this. Please look at it very well. I'm just doing a curve into my waistline, just curving it in. So please look at that very well. So I just did a curve into my waistline. Don't forget that this is my waistline. So if you see, gradually our maxi dress has taken shape. So this is it all the way down. That's my maxi dress. Like I said, mine is not so overly body tight. It's a bit loose. So now at this point, you can now add your ½ inch that we kept for our sewing. So that's just what I'm doing now. I'm just adding my ½ inch at that point. So now we are not going to do anything here yet. The only thing I like doing at this point is probably just come down by 3 inches and probably just make a line, so that when I open it up, I will know where my 3 inches point is. So that's basically what we're having there. This is our 3 inches. This is our 3 inches. So I'm going to cut. We're not yet done, but the only way we can get our off shoulder is after we have cut this out. So I'm now going to be cutting. So guys, before I cut out, I'm going to have a pocket in my maxi dress, because really I want where I can put my hands whenever I'm walking and all that. So from your waistline, you're going to come down 1.5 inch, 1.5 inches down. That's what I've done. From my waistline, I came down 1.5 inch. I just need that mark, so I'll know that this is where my pocket is going to be. So when I'm cutting, I'm going to make a notch at that point to know that this is where my pocket is going to start from. So guys, let's cut out. So this is where my maxi dress is ending, and I'm going to start cutting from there. I'm going to keep moving it because my table is not even as long as what I want it to be. So I'll just move it so that you can see. But please, when you're moving it, be very careful so that you don't have your fabric shifting. Okay, like I said, I'll come back to notch that for you to see. Okay, so this is where my sleeve is going to be. I'm just cutting that out so I can freely do what I want to do. So before I get there, I don't want to forget that I'm meant to notch this. Don't forget that's for your pocket, so you notch. So at this point, I'm just going to cut. Sorry, let me take that out. I'm just going to cut at my half of an inch. Okay. So that is done. You can actually make a notch here too, so that you know that this is where your 3 inches is. So after cutting that, I'm going to open this up so that we are able to do our off shoulder. So you try to, I always, still try to pin it down, since, like I said, the fabric I'm using, if you're using Ankara, it's easier to work with because it doesn't move. But when you're working with all this other fabric, like I said, this is a bale fabric, it has a tendency to, keep moving. So for me, I just like pinning it so that I don't lose what I'm doing. So I've opened it up now. So opening it up, remember I made notches so that it will be as a guide and I know where my 3 inches, is, to avoid trouble. So anyway, so we're now about doing the off shoulder. So to create my off shoulder, I have 3 inches here. Like I showed you in the picture, one side is off, one side is a normal shoulder. So for this side, I'm not still going to use 3. I'll still come a bit more. This is 3 inches here, so I'll come in like I think 4. If I mark at 4, when I finish sewing, I'm going to be having 4.5. So I'll mark at 4. I don't know if you can see that, I'm just hoping, but anyway, I'm just coming in 4 inches on this side. Then on this side is where my 3 inches is, but I'm going to really come off because this is what I'm saying, off the shoulder. So this is my 3, and I'm going to try and judge where you want this to be. I'm taking my off the shoulder up to 7 at this point. When I finish sewing, I'll be having like 7.5. Can actually even take it up to 8. But at the same time also, remember I had marked a 3 inches line at this point. You will still create that line. That's what I do. It's just to help me get my curve right. So I'll just create this line, and then coming down, you can come down more than 3. So we have 3 here. I'm going to come down about, I don't really want it like really choking on my neck, so I'm coming down 4 inches. So I'm coming down 4 inches, and then I'll use my curve and place it. Remember, like I said, we're having this part is actually off the shoulder, this side is on the shoulder. So on this side that we're having on the shoulder, we're actually going to have a curve into our 4 inches line. Sorry, like I said, please, you can use your free hand. My dress is really moving, so I hope you can see this. You guys can see that. So I have that curve from the shoulder, and here where I'm taking it to, like, I think I even wanted more off my shoulder. Sorry guys, I'm really a fan of off the shoulder, so I'm bringing it up to 9. Bring it up to 9. So I'm also going to curve it back into this line that I did. So all what I'm just curving out is just to get my neckline. So I hope you can see that. Sorry, the whole thing is just so that is it. So this side I took just about 4 inches, and on this part I've taken up to 9 inches because, like I said, I really want it off the shoulder. So I now make my, I came down 4 inches as well. I didn't want it so overly choky, so I didn't leave it at 3. If I leave it at 3, it's going to be too choky. So I now took my round neckline all the way back to this 9 inches on this side. I hope that is clear, please. One side I've opened up my fabric. One side I came this way 4 inches. The other side I came this way 9 inches. Then I linked my curve, my neckline curve to that point. So I'm going to put. So this is me cutting. Okay guys, it's as simple as that. So I've now cut out, so this side is really going to be off and this side is going to be on my shoulder. So now I'm done with that. I'm going to quickly cut the pocket and then we'll go over to our sewing. Please watch this. Like I said, you need to watch this video over and over again for you to get that. So now we're going to cut our pocket. This is the way I cut my pocket. So already we're having 4 here, which is what I need to use. I'll still have a line here because I need it. Like I said, if I'm cutting on my own, it's just that I'm teaching, I'll use pencil. It's easier to work with pencil than to work with chalk on this fabric. So I have this like a straight part and I'm going to put my, please watch this very well. I just did a line because I can't start with this. I'm going to place my hand like this and I'm going to draw this following my hands. That's my own quick way. I'll bring this a bit down and then I'll curve this out. Now, to really be sure of this part, before you do that curving, you take a measurement from here to here. Your pocket is supposed to be 7 inches. So I'm going to do about 8.5 because I'm adding all my sewing allowance to it, half on top and half down. So it's from this part, I'll just slant. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. From here, I'm curving it down like this. And then bring it here too. I'll just follow the way I kept my hand and join everything back. So I don't know, maybe I'll bring it closer, the camera closer, so that you can really see what I've done here. So you see the line starts from here all the way to here. I'm going to quickly cut so you can see that. So that's going to be my pocket and I kept it on a 4-fold, so it's for the 4 sides. So please, like I said, watch it over and over again and you'll really understand. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. So what I normally do is that at this point I will take 1/2 inch and I will notch so that when I'm placing it on my fabric, you'll see it's easier for me to know that all of them are aligning. So this is my pockets, 2 for one side and 2 for the other side. Okay guys, please do send in your questions where you're not clear, but like I had advised earlier on, watch the video over and over again and you get a very simple maxi dress and it's going to come out so very beautiful, and I bet you're going to make it for yourself and every other person. So you can send in your questions. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, so that whenever I upload videos, which I'm going to make sure I try to do at this point in time as frequently as we can, so that you have what to do at home, you're able to see it, you get a notification as well. Please, wherever you think we can improve, let us know. Wherever you think we can do better, let us know. And for all those that have subscribed to our channel, we are grateful. Macadel says thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And it's going to actually, motivate me to do more, because really I want all of us to learn, and just keep learning. So it's been a Macadel online training, and my name is Nita, and I'll be seeing you in our sewing class.